All right, welcome to all of my talkers out there. You are in for a treat today. This is a different type of podcast today. So I'm going to go ahead and give the disclaimer. If you see we got some things going, legalized, enjoying decriminalization of marijuana, okay, as we should. But I'm really excited. I know I tell y'all this a lot, and I'm excited to talk to the people that I talk to. But today is a different level of excitement. So I was just talking to Brittany, telling her, you probably don't remember how we met each other because I'm not going to name the person who introduced me to you. That person's going to go unnamed. But I was working with this person doing some work for Indiana Pride of Color. And they kept telling me about this Britney Tipton person. And then they kept saying, oh, Britney Tipton, you don't know Britney Tipton. Britney Tipton is amazing. Everybody knows Britney Tipton. So, before sooner or later, I realized she was kind of right. Everybody knows Britney Tipton. And I was one of
Oh
the
my God, I'm
people
about to leave.
I was one of the few people in Indianapolis who didn't know who you were. So I actually met you the first time I met you. You said you don't remember it because I think it had to do with the person that had introduced me to you. I think it just wasn't the right moment. So we were outside of the Midwest League office. I think that was when we were doing the lip sync battle for Indiana Pride of Color. And you had pulled up one day, and then they were like, "Oh, Brittany Tipton is outside," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I could finally get the opportunity to meet her." So I walked up to you. I was like, "Oh my God, really? My name's Terrell. I've heard so much about you." He was like, "Hey," like just real nonchalant. But I think it was because that person was in the mix. You just wasn't, something was going on at that moment. But since then, I followed you on social media and we don't really know each other, but I feel like we know each other in a way. And you're one person who I really admire because you're so real, you're so authentic, you use your voice. And I know I have been going through a situation, and I've talked about it where for a long time, I was that person that kept my feelings to myself. I kind of was afraid to speak up, was afraid to use my voice. I kind of just went with the flow, kind of really allowed people to kind of do whatever for a certain period of my life. And I posted something like last year. I was like, I'm tired of being nice. And I think you had commented on it and you was like, you just gotta stop being nice to these motherfuckers. And I just look at you because you're one person who you always tell it like it is, you always use your voice, and you are genuinely your authentic self, like in this world, just how you move. So that was why I was so excited to talk to you because you tell it like it
I'm
is.
like,
You be talking shit on social media. But for the people that don't know you, besides just being a really authentic person, I would say an influencer in the game. You are an entrepreneur, a
thank you so much.
stylist, a fashion icon, and the owner of the Vintage Vibe Boutique. Okay, so
Yes,
you're doing a lot of things. You got your hands in a lot of things. You're gonna be back hosting your podcast soon because that was another reason for me to get you on today was to kind of hook you into doing a little bit of podcasting so we can get
hey,
you
like, you
so
stumped
we can
me.
get you going.
It's cool.
Yes,
Sneak attack. I feel it though.
yes, a little sneak attack, a little sneak attack. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you so much. I appreciate being here too.
Definitely. Thank you for joining me today. So I want to talk about a couple things, a couple consistent threads that we talk about on the podcast. We often talk about entrepreneurship, what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what it takes to grind. But over the last two seasons of the Terrell Talk show, one of my consistent threads has been, what does it mean to protect Black women? So I want to kind of have a little bit of those conversations, talk about your entrepreneur goals, what does it mean to protect Black women, and then we're gonna get into some current topics around
Absolutely.
what it means to Black women, and I want your opinion on it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get started. So tell the people a little bit more about the Vintage Vibe Boutique. You're a stylist, you've been in the game for a while. What made you want to start your own boutique?
Well, I've been doing it, excuse me, for a really long time. I used to work in, I've been shopping vintage forever. Probably, I'm almost 50. Not just kidding. I my aunties showed me how to thrift when do you remember the vintage hard boy outfits, the Levi shiny Puff
Yes,
Daddy situations?
yes.
We all of us I got a big family, so all of us wanted them. So between the 12 of us getting these hard boy outfits, that would have been probably about a band, about $1,000 back in the days. And we were talking about it, and my auntie was just like, I don't see how y'all do that. How are y'all spending all this money on like one outfit, blah, 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 blah. And that the MVETs were still around. MVETs and the DAV and like Salvation Army, all that kind of shit. So I went with her one time and that was it. I was hooked. I was hooked on vintage, old clothes, heavy beading, sequins, structure, just a piece of clothing like this. The shit is just so perfectly made. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love, like, I'd still, like fast fashion and shit like that, but it's the vintage shit for me. So that's really how I got started, years ago, falling in love with the more ornate, outspoken, different, one of a kind, unique. Nobody's gonna have this on when you go in the club. Like, that's what it was for me, and it's just always been that. So I'm a hairstylist by trade. I got my cosmetology license, and everything else just kind of fell along with that, because of course when you do hair and shit, you're giving people styling advice and things like that, and it just all started to come together. And excuse me, I started doing fashion shows and styling for people, getting people together for photo shoots and shit, and it's just really always been a part of me. So because of that, like, that's how it just got to, like, okay, let me focus on this. Like, I love doing hair, I love doing cosmetology, shit like that, but something about when you help somebody get dressed, it's just different. It's different than a hairstyle, and when you help, because it just builds a different type of confidence. So
Absolutely, you're so right. Like when you got on, the best outfit, where you feel fly, you feel your best, you feel confident, you walk in a room with a different type of confidence.
I'm telling you, like how I look, I'll just go outside. Like, I'll just be in the world. And then when people are staring at me, I forget that I look like this.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm just so used to it looking different. Like, it used to be an issue back in the day. I was like, what the fuck they looking at? But I know what they're looking at. I look different. I've always looked different. You know what I'm saying? I'm thick as fuck. I know how to dress. I always look, so it just was always that. So, yeah.
So how would you define like your style today?
Today?
Yeah, like what do you define?
Like, why I got this on right now?
Yeah, like how do you define?
I
How
don't
would you
fucking
define?
know. Like, I was okay. All right, I'm gonna break it down to you. So first of all, I got me a bunch of Party City wigs and shit off of Amazon. I got this green one that I haven't wore yet. I posted it in my story. See, it looks a fucking mess. I tried it on, wasn't really feeling it. So I was like, all right, scratch that. I just wore the pink afro the other night. So I was like, I ain't gonna wear that again. And I just retwisted my locks. I was like, fuck that, I don't want to do that. And I was like, I'm gonna put on the pink wig. And that was it. And then the shirt, I was like, everybody been talking shit about Michael Kors. Like, that shit's not heat, because this is Michael Kors.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt the way when I seen the status with all the shade on Coach and Michael Kors, because it's like, bitch, that shit's been luxury before you were born.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So right now you kind of giving me, like vintage Mary J. Blige, like Not Gonna Cry with the black lip, giving me mixed with a little bit of Nicki, with the pink.
Yeah.
So you're very unique, you're very vibrant, you're very bold, So let me ask you this question. Where did your confidence come from? Because you said it yourself, you're a big girl, you dress different, you bold, you outspoken. We often see people like Lizzo get criticized for being so outspoken, for being so bold and so confident. Where does your confidence come from?
My confidence comes from not having to diminish anyone else's in order to have mine. So I'm confident because it's within me. It's not because, it's just, I feel like I used to have a problem with myself. You know what I'm saying? I used to have issues and stuff. So my confidence came from people trying to take it from me. So, because I figured it out, I was like, why do you want me to not feel good? Why, when I look good or I'm, presenting myself in a certain way, you have to try to take something from that? But I'm not doing anything to you for you to do that. So when I noticed that would happen to me a lot, I was like, there's something about me that even I don't even have to say anything. Because of course, if you're somewhere minding your business and I walk in, you're gonna be like, who the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I am bold, but I'm not loud. I'm still very reserved, very meek. Like I'll still like how I look is nowhere near how I am. Like I'm still very, like I'll look like this, but I'll be standing in the corner somewhere. I'm not like the part like I used to be, but not no more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm confident because I know people don't want me to be.
Okay. I
So
love that. I just want to highlight that. I'm gonna drop a bomb because that was some real deep stuff you said. My confidence comes because I don't have to diminish someone else's confidence to get mine. And I think a lot of times that's what we see on social media, out in the world. A lot of times people are so nasty and they put other people down and make themselves feel good.
And a lot of that is because even the most beautiful women have insecurities. Everybody, like I have plenty of insecurities. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I can always see. I was like the last girl of the older cousins and shit. So like we used to roast each other, and I used to have to dig deep because the first thing that people would always say is, "You fat, you dark skinned, your lips are big, you got a pig nose." Da, 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 da. So in turn with that, I can look at somebody and I can tell when they're insecure about things that aren't surface level. I can get past surface level and it's always the people that are trying to hurt some, like, why do you want to try to hurt somebody? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I learned how to roast. I used to read the dictionary, learn a lot of big words. I used to read a lot of National Geographic, read a lot of books. I used to read a lot of penthouse letters. That's why my mouth is nasty. That's why I talk about fucking and sucking dick and shit all the time. Cause like I have a vivid imagination. Mm-hmm. I just told somebody that DM me about something. And it was like, people were speaking negatively about moving to Atlanta, whatever. And like I told him, I said, 1 out of 10 people are dreamers. You're going to get 9 motherfuckers are going to tell you that you're making the wrong decision. It's oversaturated. This is that. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen. You have no clue. You have no idea whether you move to Atlanta or you move to Anchorage, Alaska. Anything could happen. It's a toss up. Who are you as a person? Fuck what they talking about. Because I still don't have I haven't had a real clocked in job in almost 15 years. Everything has just been pure muscle and hustle. I got to figure it out. It's got to come from here. I know I need XYZ on this day. I got to make as much money as I can. Okay, this is what, like I said, that nobody can dream that for you. Nobody can make the decision on what's going to be right for you. So I said, I didn't ask nobody shit. I told my sister I'm moving. I sold everything and I left.
So let's
talk. Like it was that, like,
so
I don't need nobody's input or opinion.
So you're in Atlanta now, right? So how long have you been in Atlanta?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. So let's talk about that. You said you haven't had a clock-in job in a while. So I'm gonna ask you a 2-part question. What is the biggest joy that you find in being an entrepreneur, and what's the biggest challenge?
The biggest joy will always be being able to express what I feel, what I see, what I think, what I hear, what I smell, like being able to do that on my own terms when I want. Because it was just, I remember somebody telling me I was trying to get a job back somewhere I worked. And the lady was like, "You're a good employee. You just won't wear the uniform." I said, "So you give a fuck how I look? Like you care that I won't wear this uniform, but I'm a high rated, employee, performer. I'm great to work with. So none of that matters. It's just the way that I look." I said, "That's some bullshit." And I haven't had a job since because my customer service has zero to do with how I look. Like, you're judging me and I don't like that shit. So that part, like being able to really, because people be like, "I wish I could look like that. I wish I could." I'd be like, I mean, but you work at the post office. You know what I'm saying? Not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but right. I'm saying you took a different route and I took this route, you know? But yeah. And I feel like the biggest struggle will always be trying to, when you're a creative, you know, a lot of people think it hot and cold. A lot of people think it hot and cold. Creative people think in hot, warm, lukewarm, tepid, room temperature, cold. Like it's not here nor there. So where most people, you know, take that straight line, we all over the fucking place trying to make it happen, trying to get all the ideas out, and just it's a lot, because you know I DJ, I bartend, I do the clothes, like I know how to do so much stuff, and it's just because I'll be like, let me try that shit. So I think that's the biggest struggle of being an entrepreneur and a creative.
So how do you?
Because I think those things go hand in hand. Is trying to get everything out in a format that makes sense to where you can still create, but also, you know, have some structure.
So how do you find that balance?
I don't.
You don't? Not yet.
I probably never will.
Okay. So maybe it's not meant to be. You know, maybe I think sometimes.
Maybe it ain't. You know, I feel like, you know, my answers to a lot of stuff when people ask me shit is so unreal, but simultaneously real as fuck that it scares people. Because like I was mentioning to you earlier, I had a heart attack 3 years ago. I damn near died. I was damn near clocked up out of here, you know, at 33 years old. So I've always been like this, but it was amplified when that happened. You know, I was in a coma for 8 days. Like I really wasn't supposed to recover. You know what I'm saying? So with that type of, you know, situation, and to come back, you know, still being able to be a creative, still, right, you know, regular, normal and shit like that. Like it just, I just probably, I don't like, I feel like everybody feel like there's an end game when it comes to how your life should play out. And that's why when you was like, how do you figure it out? I don't. I mean, I just manage, you know, like I truly just manage. Because also, like, I don't like to get into it because it's a sad fucking story, but whatever. But both of my parents have been, I've talked about this before too. Both of my parents have been deceased since I was 18. Mm-hmm. I'll be 37 in May. Mm-hmm. So that's a long time of figuring things out on your own, you know? So I feel like even though I may not be like filthy fucking rich or shit like that, I've already, even if I would have died when I had the heart attack, like I've already done a lot in that 33 years. There would have been enough for people to, it would have been like only the good die young type shit, you know, because I've done a lot. Like I don't brag, because for me, a lot of the shit is just me living and just doing shit. Like there's motherfuckers that could be like, she DJ'd my party. She she helped me with this. She blah, blah. Like it's a lot of good things that people can say about me. I don't necessarily just like brag on it a lot or whatever, but I've done quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like that finding a balance would necessarily help or hurt, because, you know, shit's linear, you know, like some people been here forever, have balance, and still ain't did shit, ain't affected nobody. You a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of shit. So, you know, I think a lot of times that type of pressure, right, is just too much for a lot of people, and I'm one of those people.
Definitely. I'm saying it reminds me of this book that you said that. And I'm glad that you know, give the honest, the real answers, you know, not the cookie cutter answers. But it reminds me of this book, you know, because I was telling my therapist, I was like, you know, I think I got anxiety. My therapist was like, you know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. And he was like, is it, you know, well, is it impacting your life? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, can you wake up and go to work every morning? And I was like, yeah. He was like, are you good? I was like, yeah. He was like, so don't look at it as a bad thing, you know? And he told me about this book called Anxiety is My Superpower. And it's all about how sometimes understanding those things in life that we may look at, some people can look at it and say, you know, like that's a negative, you know, like I may have balance, I may be all over the place, you know, maybe too creative, you know, but sometimes it's those things, that's where the magic happens, you know, for a lot of us. That's where the beauty, the art, that's where it's inspired, that's where it comes from, you know?
I feel like in my journey to becoming who I am and shit like that, I've met because you know I've been behind the chair too for I cut hair and did hair forever. Like I've seen so many situations. I can truly say that I feel like I have met every single type of person on the planet, just in different forms. Like there's been studies and shit done. Like you know the cookies that they collect on websites and shit.
Mhm.
They take it and they use that information there. I watched a documentary on the shit. They use the information to pinpoint, you know, how you think, how you feel. That's why when you see, you know, the ads and stuff that pop up for things you like after you talk about it, it's because they track what you like. They know what you like and all of that. So I feel like I've met every single type of person. Like, do you know how it feels to have that type of information? Like when I can read any script. I can see motherfuckers' angles. You know what I'm saying? Like I being aware, I think is probably one of my greatest gifts. Like that, I'm appreciative of that because people are not aware of one another and each other. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with anxiety and shit like that, people just don't be open enough to understand themselves enough to say, okay, this shouldn't bother me. Let me let this go. Like, because a lot of the anxiety and shit that we feel be from dealing with shit that we don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
We should just let go. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you another question. You know, one thing I wanted to talk about was really using your authentic voice. And you mentioned earlier that, you know, you had a near-death experience a few years ago that changed you. You also mentioned losing your parents at a young age. You know, I lost my mother at 20. My father was never really around. He's still out here, but he's still not around, you know. So I
yeah,
totally understand what you say when, you know, you're figuring it out on your own. And I don't think people who don't have parents understand what it's like to be a young person, you know. Because technically the world looks at you like an adult, but you still got to figure shit out on your own. You don't have parents you can
yeah.
call, you know. So how has that situation, you know, changed you or shaped the person that you are today?
Again, like it has created an awareness in me that I feel like some people never get to experience. Like
Mm.
there's so many women that don't know themselves sexually. There's so many people that don't know what they want to do. That like that's why I was saying when I was saying, you know, you can just they take all the pieces of information and I've met everybody. I've
Mhm.
met every like it's rare that I get to meet different people.
Mm.
Yeah, because my level of awareness, soon as I see some shit I don't like, I'm out the way. And I feel like I was never, not that it's a good thing, but I was never really allowed naivety. You know what I'm saying? I've never really been able to be like soft, lean on somebody, like really how people can like say that they can like depend on motherfuckers. Never really been able to do that because being, you know, out here by myself, no parents and shit like that. Like you can't tell me you're gonna do something for me. Because I can guarantee you I'm figuring out how to do it by myself before I even ask you. Who can I pay? You know what I'm saying? How can I do this alone? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think a lot of people because that's why like death doesn't really shake me up like it used to. Because it's just like, you know, people be dying. Like that type of being desensitized, people be like, bitch, what's wrong with you? Like, you don't cry when people die? No, because people die. Like, people leave here. Like, do some tight shit or treat them well and things like that. And then you won't, like, people are gonna go. I don't, like, I still, when it was early, it was fresh, used to still, like, really, like, I still do sometimes. I have that one breakdown where I'm just like, fuck, I wish I could talk to my mother or my, like, whatever. But I've been living with the solitude, stand on my own 10 toes down mentality for so long that that's why I went with different answers and shit like that, because my sense of awareness is different. It just, people be asking me information. I'd be like, that was stupid. Why would you? A girl had asked me, she's like, a dude that didn't live in her city wanted her to get a gun permit in her name for him. They live in 2 different cities and they're not together. And I said, and you're asking me that because you want me to tell you that that's dumb as fuck, don't you? Because that makes absolutely no sense. If he's not doing anything for like that, like, I don't see how you didn't make that decision in a split second. Like, that's the type of, because without having parents, like, that's the type of thinking I have to be on. So it's just
right.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like, a lot of people, you either gonna go left or right with that shit. Like, when you lose your parents and shit, especially at a young age, it's either gonna be fight or flight. You either gonna be one of these type of motherfuckers or you're gonna be something else. Like, because it affects everybody differently. Some people just fly off the deep end with the shit. Like, can't stand on their own 2 feet, and I like, you gotta figure it out. You gotta fucking figure it out, bro.
You do. Grief is hard for a lot of people, and I don't think people realize that. But I think me and you, we show that you can keep moving. The life does keep moving. For me, the best thing that I do to honor my mother is to, live a great life. I feel like that's the best thing that I could ever do. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to switch topics and lighten it up just a little bit. Let's talk about some current events. So one of our topics that we've been talking about is protect Black women. And I think me and you, we were kind of aligned on this topic. The Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. We were supposed to talk 2 weeks ago, and then I was having internet.
But, in light of new information.
Okay, tell me about it. How you feeling?
In light of new information, I don't think Jada is shit. Like, I'm not saying that she still shouldn't be protected, but at the same time, like, bitch, you out here kind of willy-nilly. Like, you do keep putting me in situations to have me looking like a motherfucker. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying she shouldn't be protected, but I'm saying maybe you should get out of this situation and let another motherfucker protect her, or let her do it herself or something, because nah. And Hollywood is a weird place, man. It's Hollywood.
Do you feel like Black women get it a little tougher? Because I think here's the thing.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing. I think it went from, Will Smith, right or wrong, he slapped Chris Rock, to then it just turned into, it's Jada's fault. I think it's just very interesting that, the videos are coming out and, people saying that she said this, people saying that she said that. I'm like, why are people just piling up on this woman like she's this horrible person? And here's why I say this, because I've read Will Smith's book. If you've ever read Will Smith's book, I think it gives you a totally different perspective on the issue, and I think it gives you a different perspective on their relationship. Here's what I'm thinking. Like, he really put that woman through a lot of stuff, during the course of their marriage. And he talks about it a lot in their book, about how she went through a period of her life where she was extremely unhappy, really because of a lot of his actions and the type of man that he was, So I think on the flip side, people are saying, well, he stood by her when she's made him look like a fool, but it's like, yeah, y'all kind of see a little bit of what's happened recently, but like he put that woman through a lot of stuff and made her very unhappy for a long time, you know?
But see, this is where accountability comes in because why do people sit around and just be unhappy with people? Like that's like the weirdest shit ever to me. Like I used to do that shit, but at the same time, I feel like why are you trying to get your lick back? Like why don't you just leave if you're that unhappy? You're not like I don't understand what you waiting on. You
Right.
getting your lick back? Like, come on now, motherfuckers is grown, and then especially in a situation where like y'all got money, kids, all kind of shit. Like, I just I just don't be thinking. I feel like that shit was just so. I just feel like it's so unnecessary for people to. Because how are y'all amassing all this money and just like kind of supposedly great people? You know what I'm saying? Or I want to say great people. I'll say in a better position than more motherfuckers. Like, yeah, movie stars and shit. Like, what the fuck is going on in here? Y'all can't figure out. Y'all just gonna be weird to each other for all these years. Like, that shit don't make no sense. Because that's what I said, in light of new information. So then, like you said, with this book, he's saying this and shit. Take us out the group chat. Take us out the group chat. Because
Okay.
y'all crazy. Y'all like this shit. To keep doing it. Y'all like this.
I do agree. I think it's time for them to pull back a little bit because I think they let people too into their business, you know, and it all happened with that August Alsina situation. And then I think it just really kind of
He
spiraled.
weird as hell too, girl.
Yeah, I think it all just kind of spiraled from there. But so you are so what's your final verdict on the situation? Do you think it was is this a protecting Black woman? Do you think he overreacted? Do you think he was just
Oh no, hell no. Hell no. Because even if I was just with a nigga that I was fucking, bitch, don't talk to nobody I like that.
Okay.
No, you can't do that. You don't, because you making me look stupid. And especially in that case, y'all been together for 65 years. But then didn't she say, don't protect her? Didn't she say that?
Well, I don't know if she said that or it was like
Or somebody,
yeah, it was like a statement of one of the
a
people.
sound blurb or some shit.
Yeah, something like that.
And listen, this you know what my answer to a lot of stuff like that be most of the time. Like I'll say something, probably make a couple jokes or something, and I'll let it go because y'all rich as fuck. I don't have time for this shit. Like I don't have time. I gotta get some money. I don't know what the fuck. I ain't got nothing to do with what rich people doing. Shit. Cause and especially in this situation where it's just so much confusion. Like y'all done lost me. This shit like a soap opera. Fuck all this. You know, like yeah.
So
But he definitely 100% did the right thing. Yeah, that's no question. But
how do you feel in general when you hear people talk about protecting Black women? Because you're pretty vocal about, as a Black woman, you're pretty vocal about, you know, a lot of your experiences that you have with men, you know, whether they good, whether they bad. How do you feel about this movement to protect Black women?
I think it's a fucking hoax, just like Grand Risings. I
Mhm.
think it's a motherfucking hoax that people use to coerce motherfuckers into doing you people don't just protect Black women. People protect Black women when there's something to gain because I have watched men go from niggas that love me to not giving a fuck if anything happens to me in a split second when they find out they can't fuck me. You know what I'm saying? So just like Grand Risings and motherfucking uh um um flaxseed smoothies, like all that kind of shit. It just popped up out of nowhere. Just like, people haven't always carried crystals and da 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 da. And I think it's just another wave. I think it's just another wave, like Black Lives Matter and shit. Like people hop on a wave because it's a popular thing to do, but it's really not how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I don't get protected once I don't have something to offer, a pawn off. You know what I'm saying? And even if I do, in some cases, like people are so carnal. So people love to scream that protect Black women shit, but like I said again, I be feeling like a lot of shit is a hoax once I see, any type of behavior or statuses that counteract that. Because most motherfuckers, like everything they do is based in misogyny. They don't really know how to think outside of their dick. So that's pretty much everything is gonna revolve around that. No matter what your opinion is on anything, most of it's gonna consist of you getting your dick wet. Well, now women on the other hand, it just depends. Like, cause I'm a protect Black woman. I talk shit. I fucking roast everybody. I have a different, like, I'm funny. My outlook on things are funny. So I really do. No matter, even with the amount of shit that I talk, I still don't attack. My shit's general. I talk about fat bitches. I talk about BBL bitches. I talk about niggas with money. I talk about niggas with big dicks, little dicks. Anybody can get it. My take and my outlook on things are just funny. You know what I'm saying? But women, it just depends, because a lot of y'all don't want to protect Black women either. Y'all be wanting people to feel shitty about having a fupa. Y'all be wanting motherfuckers to feel shitty about not having kids, having kids. Like everything's opinion based, and that's why that's why I don't give a fuck, because your opinion it doesn't matter to me. Even if you're giving me some money, it still don't matter to me. The only thing that matters is give me my coin. It's people like. It's another wave. It's another wave, because if you don't have to say that to actively do it. Like y'all bitches be having women's empowerment brunches, but be shitty ass fucking people. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just another thing that and that's another thing I'm glad I was given, the high level of discernment, because even, back then, I knew motherfuckers wasn't for me. But I was trying to prove loyalty and all other kind of shit. But I knew then. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So all people gonna do what's popular.
Okay. Whew. Okay, you dropped some gems. Okay, so let me ask you this question. You're a pretty free thinker. And I think we need more people like you in the world, because I think you won't meet a lot of people that's going to just be so honest and so real, So my question to you is, when are you going to take this show on the road? Meaning, one, I've said it before, I have like this vision. I really want you to let me produce a comedy show for you. And I
would absolutely love that shit.
And I want you and LeBrian to do stand-up, and y'all should let me produce a comedy show for y'all. Like, that's my dream.
Now, this is one thing, like, I'm gonna tell you like this. When I say my whole family has a keen sense of humor, it's not even funny. When we get together and we get going, it's crazy. Me and my sister, we're fucking horrible. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, me and my sister, but she's not like me. Like, if we look exactly alike, but when we're standing, it's good twin, bad twin. We look like polar opposites. Like, she is still outspoken with her hair, shit like that. But I'm more loud, whatever. But man, listen, I'm game for all that shit. Like, I keep saying I'm gonna try. I said I was gonna roll up in somewhere like this week, because I'm about to start. I wanted to get on the auntie shit, but I'm really about to start really just going for more shit. Like, because I noticed not too long ago that I'm becoming less shy when it comes to, because even though I look like this, like I said earlier, I'm still always just kind of like, because I know I'm a lot to handle. You know what I'm saying? Visually and shit. But I feel like, yeah, I would do that shit. I need to be managed. Like, I wish somebody would just be like, all right, get up, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's that balance that I need. Like, it sounds fucked up, but I truly need like a manager or a handler or something.
I mean, I got my business, I got my own company, I do management. We need to talk after this. We gotta
Mhm.
after this. But okay, so
Absolutely.
my next thing is your podcast. When are you going to bring back your podcast? You previously had a podcast called Bedroom Business. I love the name.
Yes.
Are you gonna bring that back, or are you gonna do something different?
I
Put
would
you on the
love
spot.
to have I would love to have my podcast, and I want it to be called Go the Fuck to Hell.
Okay. Go the fuck to hell.
Go the fuck to hell, because I think like within like this has just happened with like within like the last 2 years, where I've really been standing on telling people to get the fuck out of my face. You know what I'm saying? And really telling people what they do wrong to me, and really telling people, how because even though I am super outspoken, when I care about someone, I will let up a little bit and kind of like I'll let a motherfucker get over on me because I love them. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But here recently, within the last couple years, I tell people fuck them so fast, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even funny no more, because I just feel like at our big ass ages, like I'm not about to be, no, we're not doing this, because I feel like it's unfair. It's unfair for you to be in my face portraying to be something that you're not, and here I am presenting my authentic self. That means you're trying to get over on me. You're trying to trick me. So when I see foul, fraudulent behavior, I don't care in what form it's in. I don't care how long I've been knowing you or anything like that. You gotta go, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And just because I'm not the current victim doesn't mean that I won't be one day. So I just go to fuck to hell. You got to go to fuck to hell.
So what you gonna be talking about? What you gonna be talking about on this new
Everything, because I can talk about anything. I think that's me and my sister was just having this discussion where like I was just saying like soon as people come into town, they're like, let's go out. And I'm like, yo, like I don't like I'm not really that free. I'm the mushroom Picasso exhibit friend. I'm not the section friend no more. I don't want to be standing anywhere sweating off my illy side. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I don't want to be nowhere where motherfuckers are just staring at me and just being all weird and shit. Even with the, today's like I don't feel like I look different like that. But in the places where people, I just be like, I'm cool on that shit. Like I like daytime shit. Like I'm an auntie. I'm about to be 37. Like I like to lay down and shit. I don't like to be, pumping all the time. Like when I go and take pictures and shit, that be all I do sometimes. Like I'll just get dressed and go take some pictures and come home. You know what I'm saying? I seen you post about that. Like, bro, like I'm not. So, I got pulled over last night. Auntie almost went to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I almost went to jail.
Auntie being bad. But here I am, hanging out with motherfuckers because people are in town. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, listen, it's over for that shit. I'm too old. I can't fucking hang. I hung out the night before. That was enough. And here I am trying to listen. He was like, you were doing 92. I want to say, sir, I'm so fucking tired. Like I was so tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck you think I got these sunglasses on? I'm cute. Shit. The fuck? My eyes are the same color as this hair. Shit. And not just from smoking. I'm tired. So, I feel like I have different experiences. I have different outlooks, the things that I like to do, the things that interest me. Like I call bullshit so fast. Like you got to go to fuck to hell because I've already met you. Like I said earlier, like I've already met you, nigga. Like I be like, listen, this girl had made a post and was like, something. She was like, yeah, you can't fuck with me unless you got some money. And yes, I know that's prostitution. Listen, I will stay home. I will fucking read a book. Like I'll lay in the bed all day and do nothing by myself. If you're not the energy or the company that I want, and you're not giving me shit, what the fuck do you want? What the fuck do you want?
That's it.
It's that simple. Like, I don't beat around the bush or nothing. I'd be like, are you gonna give me some money? When I tell you, niggas scram like roaches, like because I'm not about to behave. I'm not about to pretend like I don't want to be your bitch or nothing. Are you gonna give me some money? How's this gonna be beneficial to me? What am I getting? Like, I used to be real like, I don't need nothing in return. Shit. Now I need something up front. I need a fucking down payment. Like, I need you to give me some money up front before, like, people be like, call me. You got to cash at me first, because you're not about to have me on the phone for anything that's not beneficial to me. Period. It's that simple. Everything is just let me know until you give me some money.
Okay. And so
you're not wasting my time.
So as your new manager, we got to come up with a date when we gonna launch the podcast. We got to commit to it. You got to tell.
I mean, shit, it's almost tourist season. You know, my birthday is May 20th, so I mean, shit, we can do one that morning. We can, because it's gonna take that long. What's today? 10th. Oh, that's like 30 days from now or some shit.
Yeah,
we can do it on my birthday.
Okay, I'm holding you to it. Y'all heard her, listeners.
And it's gonna go the fuck to
hell. It's
go the fuck to hell. And it needs to be a picture of me, like, and I mean it's
okay.
Because I do
like that. Just like that. Okay, so what else do you got coming up for the people? I know I just got my ticket to garden party. I know you.
Okay, so how you coming? Or am I styling you in lieu?
Yes, I got the VIP ticket. I got the VIP. I missed last year, so I wasn't missing this year.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk after this, because I've been seeing some exquisite shit. Like,
I need to like kill it. Like, I'm talking about like
bruh, I'm doing Johnny Jones.
Uh-huh.
I got him as a client, and then this other I got 3. I said if I get 5 people, I'm gonna come. But I feel like I'm gonna have to come regardless.
Well, count me as
so I'll be home for garden party.
Count me as number
4. But I'm
4.
not going. I'm not.
What you mean you're not going? You gotta go. How you gonna come home for it and not go?
Because I'm just styling. I'm not. Yeah, I'll probably do some shit like after or something. Because listen, I don't really feel like working out and shit right now. I got a little fat. Like, I just, it's like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. And you know what it is? You know, I'm a tourist. Hold grudges. I was shitty that I didn't get a ticket last year. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I didn't even try to get a ticket this year. Like, I was just like, okay, fuck y'all. And not like in a fuck y'all sense, because I fuck with Jeff Williams, Be Nimble, you know, like, fuck with them. But I was just like, man, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so excited to go last year and I didn't get no ticket. I was like, man, what? So I didn't even try this year.
Well, we're gonna get you a ticket for this year. You in there.
Nah, because then I got it. No.
We got like 2 months to prepare. We got time.
I don't know. I've already, so you know, I'm real like, I already said I ain't done it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I got time to try and convince you. I got time.
We'll talk.
Okay, so thank you again for joining. It's been a great conversation.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to hear your podcast and to be a guest. I hope people have enjoyed talking to you. I hope they've laughed. I hope they've felt your authenticity. I hope they look at the video on YouTube so that
they're gonna be like, man, who is this Ric Flair ass bitch?
Yes, that's why I hope they look on YouTube so that they can see how fabulous you are. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell the people how they can get in contact with you, follow you, stay in touch.
Follow me on the Vintage Vibe on Facebook. It's a little pink circle with a turquoise radio. On Instagram, it's the Vintage Vibe with an _. Either one of those pages will bring you directly to me.
All right, and you will be seeing her on a comedy stage tour.
Oh shit, there you go.
And you'll hear her podcast, Go the Fuck to Hell, real soon.
Right.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you for joining us. Thank you for everyone for listening. Check us out on YouTube, all podcast streaming platforms, and we'll see you next time. Terrell Talks.
All right, see you later.